148. Do not throw away your life on earth in unknownness of the truth of the primal power creation, so that you will not be destructive like the whirlwind which blows through the arable crops in an icy storm and destroys them. Do not commit outrages against your existence and therefore also not against the continuance of your world through unknowing, because otherwise you will destroy yourselves as well as your earth and your appearance nature. Be at all times moderate in all things and do not drive up the number of your descendants into copiousness, vastness / enormousness / unlimitedness, so that you will not become the destroyers of your world, and it does not rebel against you in misery and pain and protect itself against your destructive frenzy with primal Gewalt, and does not crush you and your creation's achievements. 149. You who are knowing in the teaching of truth, do not take those as trusted friends who do not stand up for you and only feign friendship as long as they have a premium benefit from you, but do not remember their friendship any longer when you fall into misery and need their help. 150. And you who are knowing in the teaching of truth, the teaching of spirit, the teaching of life, do not take those as your trusted friends who are far from the teaching of truth and are unwilling to understand and accept you as knowing in the truth, because they will not fail neglect to destroy you, and truly they like it when you are struck by calamity, and their hatred against you will quickly become apparent from their mouth. But what their breast center of feeling conceals dissimulates is even worse, and truly they do not want to understand the laws and recommendations of life. 151. If you are fair ones, responsible ones, and knowing in the truth, then you doubtless love those who believe themselves to be your enemies, because they consider themselves as your enemies although you are not theirs, but they do not love you nevertheless. The ones who see themselves as your enemies, but you do not see them as yours, you love them because you act in love in accordance with the teaching of truth, which teaches that all people of your kind, human beings, are equal to one another as people of your kind, human beings. Those who believe themselves to be your enemies do not love you, however, rather they are deceiving you because they pretend to you that they are connected to the truth although they are not. And when they are alone, then they gnaw their fingertips and rage against you, and they would prefer to die in their rage against you than to resolve their enmity and their rage and hatred against you in themselves. 152. Truly, if something good happens to you, then it pains those who believe that they are your enemies. But if something evil happens to you, then they rejoice over it and laugh, but remain steadfast and upright in spite of their doings, and esteem them as people of your kind, human beings, and embrace them with love. Then their intrigues will not harm you. 153. Consider that when you get up early in the morning and go out of your house, that you shall always be friendly and good to yourselves, as well as to all those whom you meet and with whom you have doings, so that neither you nor anyone else may fall into agitation about you. 154. Never reflect upon chicken-heartedness, cowardice, but always be upright, daring, bold, and joyful, so that you give yourselves power and the others respect and honor you. 155. Never be connected to chicken-heartedness, cowardice, but always stand by yourselves with great bravery, so that you may never be weak in any things, and so that you may take yourselves as protectors in all things, so you may be thankful to yourselves. 156. It is not sufficient for you that the prophets bring you signs, evidence, and the teaching of truth, since you are striving to emulate your fabulated, invented gods and tin gods with their false teachings, and you obstinately allow yourselves to be led into confusion by their priests and other servants' hands/helpers, believing that your god or gods are sending liberators, angels, down to you who shall come to your aid when you are fighting in a battle war with those whom you have raised up as your enemies. 157. And as you make enemies for yourselves, so they come over you in reckless haste, but no liberators, angels, will come storming out of the clouds from the firmament, from your gods and tin gods, in order to hurry to your aid, because liberators, angels, from gods and tin gods are just as much fabulated, invented, insubstantial formations by people of your kind, human beings, as are the gods and tin gods themselves. 158. Therefore you shall arrange yourselves according to the real truth as is given to you by the teaching of the prophets, so that you may accept their joyful message in yourselves in order to calm yourselves in your inner world consciousness, in your intention and consideration, reflections and strivings. And truly, if help is given to you in any things, then it comes from you alone, because as far as you are concerned you are the mighty ones and those who have to create knowledge and wisdom in yourselves. 159. However, so many amongst you are inconstant, which is why you cut off parts of the truth as unknowing ones and debase yourselves thereby. This explains why you often have to turn away from unfulfilled things of evil when the truth catches up to you. 160. It is your task alone to turn to yourselves in clemency, kind-heartedness, and to make yourselves into ones knowing in the truth, as it is also your significance concern/matter, whether you punish yourselves by being malefactors, irresponsible ones, to the truth. 161. Everything that exists in the firmament's universe, and on the earth's worlds/planets, belongs to the primal power of love creation, but you are the ones to whom it is given to forgive yourselves or to punish yourselves according to equitableness, fairness. 162. All those amongst you who are knowing ones in the truth and fair ones, responsible ones, and righteous ones, conscientious ones, do not gobble up and mark up interest, and mark up on markup compound interest, when you give advances, loans, or borrowing loan money, or mortgaging pledged money/surety money, but only demand a markup interest, and settlement in a fair tolerable manner, so that you are not rapacious ones, avaricious ones/usurers, and so that it may go well with you. 163. Fear rapacity, practicing usury, and the fire of unknowing if you turn away from the teaching of truth, the teaching of spirit, the teaching of life, and become depraved in yourselves by creating lovelessness and dispeace, as well as unfreedom and dissonance, disharmony, in yourselves. 164. Listen to the teaching of the prophets and their words of the teaching of truth, so that you may find grace, kind-heartedness, and mildness in your existence. 165. And compete with one another in assiduousness, striving for true love and for peace, as well as for freedom and consonance harmony, so that you may forgive all those who assume they are your enemies, so that you may create a paradise on your world and honor and dignity may be yours, as is planned through the laws and recommendations of the primal power creation, for all of you shall be knowing in the truth and raised above all in truth, above all non-right and all evilly, as well as above enmity and battle war, above hatred and jealousy, unfair, irresponsible punishment and ordeal, torture, above revenge and retribution, and everything that is against the guideline, signposting/leading thought of the primal power creation. 166. You are rightfully fair ones, responsible ones, and righteous ones, conscientious ones, if you give contributions, alms/donations, to the poor and needy, whether you are in fortunate or unfortunate circumstances, and you are also fair ones, responsible ones, and righteous ones, conscientious ones, if you do not allow any anger and hatred, as well as any revenge and jealousy and anything else that is non-right to arise in yourselves, and you are also fair ones, responsible ones, and righteous ones, conscientious ones, if you evince, grant/show forgiveness to people of your kind, fellow human beings, and show goodness to them. 167. And those amongst you who commit a misdeed or an outrage against yourselves, consider your disgraceful deed crime, and seek forgiveness, so that it may go well with you and you do not knowingly, consciously, persist in your non-right doing.